Welcome back to the quick intro to Python 3 for AWS Automation Engineers course. In today's video, we'll describe how to work with EBS volumes in Python using Boto3 library. To be able to repeat our examples, you'll need Python 3 interpreter, AWS CLI tools, Boto3 module and IDE. We'll be using Cloud 9 IDE in this video, but you can use your local IDE such as Visual Studio Code, IntelliJ IDEA, or even text editor. EC2 instances use block-level storage called Amazon Elastic Block Store, EBS. Amazon EBS offers durable, high-performance, and highly scalable volumes ranging from 1 GB up to 16 TB of storage size for EC2 instances. The data stored on EBS volume is automatically replicated across the availability zone, AZ, within AWS region. EBS volumes are easy to use, whether you need to add or remove them from the EC2 instance, modify their size, or change their type. When choosing your EBS volume types, you'll find multiple options based on your business application requirements. Every EBS volume can be backed up and persisted in the form of EBS snapshots. EBS snapshots are a point-in-time copy of your data and can be used to enable disaster recovery, migrate data across AWS regions and accounts, and improve backup compliance. One or more snapshots can form an Amazon Machine Image, AMI. An Amazon Machine Image is a supported and maintained image that provides the information required to launch an instance. EBS volumes are a part of the AWS EC2 service, so you need to use APIs to manage them. To simplify this job for Python developers, AWS maintains the Boto3 library, which allows us to interact with AWS Services APIs by simply calling the required functions. The Boto3 library provides us with two ways to access APIs. The client allows you to access the low-level API data. By using the client, you're getting API response in the form of the JSON structure. And the resource that allows you to use AWS services in a higher-level object-oriented way. For example, to get volume information, you need to access volume class attributes. We already covered this topic in depth in the quick intro to Boto3 clients and resources video, so we'll not stay here for a long time. Here's an example of instantiating the EC2 client and resource. To create a new EBS volume, you can use the createVolume method of the Boto3 EC2 client. There are way more arguments available for this function, so check out the latest official Boto3 documentation for more information about a complete list of arguments. In this example, we're creating new 10 gigabits volume of type GP2 in availability zone as ES2C, and setting up the tag name, which will help us to identify this volume by its name. On successful execution, the new volume variable will store a JSON response from AWS that contains all information about created volume. We're processing such a response like any other Python dictionary data structure. Pay attention to the last line. To create a new EBS volume, you can use the create_volume method of the Boto3 EC2 resource. Similarly, the createVolume method has way more arguments, and you need to check out the latest official Boto3 documentation for more information about supported arguments. In this example, we're an EBS volume with the same parameters but by using another method. The new volume variable will store an EC2 volume resource class object. So, we're accessing the volume name using dot notation like we're doing with class attributes in Python. Now, let's take a look how to list all EBS volume in one availability zone. The easiest way to list all EC2 volumes is to use the all method of the volumes collection of the EC2 resource and use the for loop to iterate over results. If you'd like to search an EBS volume by specific tag, you can use the filter method of the volumes collection of the EC2 resource and use the for loop to iterate over results. The similar approach is applicable for searching EBS volumes by their IDs. Pay attention that you can specify multiple volume IDs at the same time. Now, let's take a look at how you can delete EC2 volumes. The easiest way to a volume is to use the delete method of the volume Boto3 resource class. In this example, we're deleting a specific volume by its ID. If the volume is not attached, the volume status should be available. Let's extend the previous example and look how we can use already existing knowledge to delete all unused volumes that are not attached to EC2 instances, in our availability zone. First, we're filtering volumes by their status and deleting them if their state is available. If you'd like to get all available information about any EBS volume, the most straightforward way to do it is to use the describe volumes method of the EC2 client, which returns complete information about the volume in JSON format. The describe volumes method accepts the same arguments as the filter method, so you can specify various conditions to find the required volumes. As soon as return JSON structure contains datetime values, we must use an additional method to serialize them to the string format, JSON datetime serializer method. Now, let's take a look at how you can attach existing EBS volume to the EC2 instance. To achieve this goal, you need to use the attach to instance method of the EC2 resource. Keep in mind that you can only attach EBS volumes to the EC2 instances within the same availability zone, and one EBS volume can be attached to only one EC2 instance. To detach the EBS volume from the EC2 instance, you need to use the detach from instance method of the volume resource class. In addition to that, you have to use the waiter volume available class that checks every 15 seconds that the EBS volume has been successfully disconnected from the EC2 instance by running the describe volumes method in the background. That's the correct way to wait for the successful completion of detach operation. And finally, if you need to increase the size of the EC2 volume based on application requirements, you can use the modify volume method of the EC2 client. Please keep in mind that you can only increase the size of EBS volume, and there is no way to decrease the size of volume from AWS console, CLI, or API. Of course, as soon as you increase the size of the volume in AWS Cloud, you have to connect to the EC2 instance, rescan the device, and extend the file system. That's all we wanted to cover in this video. If you'd like to get more information about certain operations with EBS volumes or any other AWS services using Python and Boto, please let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for your attention. Stay tuned.